Okay, here's the deal. You are not stuck because you don't know what to do. You are stuck because you keep re-entering the same pattern and then acting surprised that you end up in the same place. And today I am going to tell you the truth lovingly, as always, but I am not here to protect your feelings because 2026 is the year that you finally lose this weight, get your goal body, and keep it forever. So let's get into today's show. Welcome to Get Your Goal Body, the podcast for women who are done with starting over, done with diet drama, and done playing small. I'm Hillary, mom, nutrition and psychology expert, and fat loss coach, and the woman who lost 100 pounds naturally and kept it off for a decade. This isn't about quick fixes or crash diets. Here, we do real transformation, sustainable nutrition that actually fits your life, eating food that you actually love, a mindset that rewires your results, and an identity upgrade you'll keep forever. If you are ready to burn the rule book, rewrite your story, and finally live in your goal body permanently, you're in the right place. No more excusing old patterns and no more delaying your goals. Let's raise your standard, break the cycle, and make this the last time you ever start over. Welcome to my world. Let's get into it. Okay, you guys, really quick before we get into today's episode, I've got to pull up my Nest app because it is so hot in here. Hold on, let's just turn this heat off. I can feel the heat coming up from the vent, and I'm in shorts right now and a short sleeve shirt, and I am normally freezing, but let me tell you, the heat is working overtime today. So hot. Okay, we've got it turned down. Whew, I cannot record this and talk to you guys with that much heat going on, especially because I've got my coffee. All right, you guys, welcome back. I'm so excited to hang out today. Let's just do a little, I'm going to get spicy. So before I go in on you, let's just have a little touch base. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you guys are going to have to help me figure out what we're doing back here. Okay. I've now been in this house for a year and a half ish, and I moved the desk forward. I've been talking about this dilemma of this office space and just feeling like I didn't love it. My old office was just so wonderful. It was huge. It had all windows. Anyways, we're past that. We're here now, and I have not loved this office space, but I did move my desk forward, so I'm right in front of my windows. I love that. But now looking behind me, I'm like, I don't know. This blue chair that I got it like on sale, I think, whenever I moved into my old house, and it went well with my old office, but it's just like not a vibe here. So I think we need to replace this chair with something better because I don't even like sitting in that. And then this is fine. We could probably scoot stuff over. My walking pad's over here. We got to get something on the walls. Like I'm just not loving it. So anyways, any suggestions? I'm not big on interior decorating. So if anybody has any, suggestions for what we can do to just make this better so that the video version of the podcast and my live calls for my clients, just looks, we'll just level it up a little bit. Okay. At the time that this is dropping, we're 10 days from Christmas. Who is finished Christmas shopping? If you're not, here's your reminder. We're 10 days. I'm going to give myself a little more credit. I feel like I did better this year. I still have just a few things, and then like the boys' stockings, but I feel like I did a much better job this year. I normally am a last minute person, and then I'm like stressing about it. I do still have some things. So this is a mental note for myself right now to say, do not forget that we've got a little bit. In fact, after I get off this, I'm going to just organize a little bit and make sure that I'm good. And yeah, we're going to get it taken care of. But if you're like me and it sneaks up on you, let this be your reminder. We got 10 days. All right. We're starting today a little bit spicy. And as always, I mean it with love, truly. This episode, what I will tell you, because I'm not afraid to hurt your feelings, is about this same 10 to 15 to 20 pound pattern that we are simply not carrying into 2026. I refuse to let you carry this into 2026. And if you have been losing the same weight and gaining it back 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, over and over and over again. If you're the woman who can be good Monday through Thursday, and then the weekend happens. Or you're the woman who eats healthy but cannot get any leaner. If you're the woman who keeps saying, I'll just lock in after the holidays, today's episode is definitely for you. And just so you know, like where we're going with this one, I'm going to tell you what the pattern actually is that keeps you stuck in this 10 to 20 pound gaining and losing loop, and why it is so predictable, and what needs to change. What needs to change if you want this to be the last year that you do this whole start over, get some progress, lose control, and then start over again, right? This like cycle that we repeat. And as always, at the end of this, I'm going to invite you into my program, Goal Body Coaching, because the truth is, like, if you listen to this and you know it's you and you don't need another podcast episode because you keep listening to this, but you keep repeating it, and you need a plan that is built for your real life and accountability that doesn't let you disappear and ghost your goals, then cool, let's go. Join me in coaching. It's time. I mean, let's be real here, right? We can only repeat the same patterns and know that we can't do it alone for so long. But I want to get into this. So where we're currently at, right? It's like mid-December, and right now the schedules are weird. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just like, when I realized like we're coming up on, like it's like mid-December vibes. It feels like I'm lost in the mix a little bit with the calendar, and I know everybody else is feeling that as well. It's one of those weird things where the days feel really long, but they really feel short, right? It's like, could I get like an extra 5 hours, please? And I know, like, you're trying to finish the year strong at work, show up for your family, obviously, make the holidays magical, which is what we do as moms, and keep everything held together. And you can probably feel it, that little like mental negotiation that's happening in the background. It might not even be subtle. It might be like in your face right now, where you're saying those things like, just let me get through Christmas and I'll get back on track after. I'll start fresh in January. I feel puffy. I had a client this morning. She was like, I feel so puffy. And I'm like, yes, it's that like Marshmallow Man, vibe, where it's just like you're consuming all the sodium, all the treats, sugar, drinks, like you're just not on your normal schedule right now. So you're feeling puffy and you're thinking, I'll fix it later. And you know what's wild? You're not saying that, you're not having those thoughts and those mental negotiations because you don't know what to do, right? You know what to do. You have tracked your food before. You've done the workout programs. You've eaten clean. You've probably done Whole30, low carb, the no sugar thing. You've even tried the I'll just be super disciplined thing, right? So why are you still here? Here's what I'll tell you, because again, I'm not afraid to hurt your feelings, right? Why have you done all of these millions of things and yet you're still coming to the end of the year having not reached goals? Here's what I'll tell you. If it's always the same 10 to 20 pounds, it's not your body, it's your pattern. And you keep treating it like it's a motivation issue or a willpower issue or a metabolism and hormone issue. And it's not. It's not. It's a systems issue. It's an identity issue. It's a maintenance issue. And until you fix the pattern, you will keep getting the same result, because the same inputs, meaning doing the same things, gets you the same outputs, right? The same result of having that start over cycle that we just talked about. And I want to just like call this out really quickly, because at the end of the day, this is where I see so many women struggle. It's like we want to blame so many other things, right? We want to blame sugar. We want to blame our changing hormones. We want to blame our metabolism, our age, lots of things. Like there's that list is long of the, let's just call it what it is, excuses for why we're still not in a body that we feel good in. Until we have like the truth talk with ourselves that we have to have about we can't continue to blame that stuff. Like there's women out there with all the things we just listed that are crushing it. They're losing the weight consistently, like living in their goal body, right? They have all those issues too. So we got to like stop doing that part, and we've got to really step into the ownership of like, this is a pattern problem. This is a mindset problem. And some of these things that we're going to get into, if you did not grab my journal prompts, we're kind of coming up on like the last bit of the year, right? If you didn't grab my journal prompts, I'm going to drop them again at the top of the show notes or at the top of the YouTube description. And I want you to grab those because these year-end journal prompts, my clients are doing them. I'm doing them. I'm actually still working my way through them as well. And you guys have been doing them as well. I'm so excited. So many of you guys have downloaded them. So yeah, these are going to help you. They're called Get Real with Yourself for a reason, because we got to have that truth talk. Like it's not going to serve you to continue to say, oh, it's all these external things. We got to go inward. We got to take full accountability for where we are in control. And when you do that, it changes everything. So these journal prompts are going to actually help you kind of just look back at like, what have those excuses been, or where am I getting tripped up? It gets deep into it. So make sure that you grab those. You do not want to go into 2026 having not had this truth talk with yourself. And this is going to allow you to go deep and get really personal. The last 2 podcast episodes have also kind of like set you up for this sort of accountability that you'll need to have going into next year if this is going to be the year that you get out of your own way and get your goal body. So with that, make sure that you grab those and work through those. I said this in the last episode, writing it down is what's going to make it real, but even just kind of going through them, I think there's a lot of value in doing that as well. So do that, because I know, again, this time of year, we got a lot on the list, but just at least grab them, and you can do them in the new year as well. But I think there's a lot of value in doing it right now. So here's the truth. The women that I coach inside of Goal Body are not women who don't know what to do. Okay, ever. Okay. In fact, I would say this. The women that come into Goal Body could probably like teach a PowerPoint on logging your food and hitting your protein and working out. Okay. The women that I work with, they don't know what to do. They're the women who know, but they don't do. Okay. I'm talking about high performing, busy, capable, successful in like every area in life, but their body is the place where they feel like, why can I not figure this out? Why can I just not be consistent in this one area? And if that is you, I want you to hear me very clearly. Your results do not reflect your intelligence. They reflect your systems under pressure. And if your systems are weak and you're building your forever goal body, right? Your forever home on this really shaky foundation, hear me when I say you don't need more information. You don't need to follow another inspo account with 3 more hacks, okay? You need a new structure, okay? We got to stop getting these cheap dopamine hits online, and we got to start like doing the real work that's going to give you the results that you want. You need a new structure. So when you say to me, it's always the same weight, I can basically predict like what your year looks like. So it typically goes something like this. Okay. Something creates urgency. It creates that like panic. We'll just forget urgency. We'll call it panic. That little panic of like, maybe it's a trip that's now on the calendar, a wedding that's coming up, just summer in general, a photo that you saw of yourself. You see yourself in the mirror, the jeans that always fit do not fit anymore. They're too tight, whatever. Okay, so there we have this moment in time and you lock in. It is enough to make you be like, I got to get it together. Like, we got to get it together. And you lock in and you can be so disciplined. You can grind. You can do it. You get progress. People notice, you feel the difference. Your significant other is feeling the difference. You're feeling better. And you're like, nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop. I'm unstoppable. And then life gets lifey. The novelty of all that like new energy and excitement that your brain craves and loves wears off. Stress happens, work happens, kids happen, travel happens, holidays happen, social plans happen. And like suddenly you are loosening up and you have not learned the skill of loosening up without a full backslide. Am I right? Okay. So then you slide and then you panic and then you restrict and you're back in this disciplined white knuckling cycle. And so on and so on. So then the 10 pounds and the 15 pounds, and then we're just over and over and over again. And here's what I need to say next, and it might sting, but we're in this together. Remember, I did this too. So nothing that I ever say to you is not something that I have not had to say to myself 100 million times. In fact, I probably said it to myself a lot meaner, okay? You don't have a fat loss problem. So many women are like, oh, I just can't lose the body fat. Again, hormones, age, metabolism, blah, 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 blah. No, you don't have a fat loss problem. You have a transition problem. You can do fat loss when you're highly motivated, when you're checking the boxes and everything's new and fresh and exciting and life is going really smooth and well. Like, you can do it then. But what you haven't been trained to do is still be that woman when the motivation drops, when the newness and the fun wears off. And that is why you regain. That is why it is always the same number repeated over and over and over, because the moment that you stop doing the extreme thing and you're not able to show up as much as you were in the beginning, you return to your default identity and your default environment. And this is not your fault, okay? This is the way that your brain works. This is the neuroscience, like psychology side of this, right? That I'm always getting into with you guys. We could sit here and talk about calories and protein and tracking all day. You don't need to hear that. You know that. You know you need to be moving your body. You know you need to be eating a certain way. That's not what you need to understand. What you need to understand is exactly why you regain. Okay. So I want to talk about the 3 regain moments. If I could just like put it under an umbrella, which I have, and I talk to my clients about these, the 3 regain moments. This is the pattern that we're talking about, right? I said in the beginning, you don't have a fat loss problem, a metabolism problem. You have a pattern problem. These are the 3 moments that I see again and again and again, especially with my high-performing, successful, busy women, okay? The clients that I work with. All right. Moment number 1, regain moment number 1 is the I'm busy moment. This one is so common. At this point, I'm like bored by it. I'm not even trying to be mean, but like I'm so bored by I'm busy. Girl, we are all so busy. Welcome to like adulthood and 2026. Like, we're busy. We all are. Okay. This one is the number one that I hear. And it makes sense, right? Like, again, you're on it. You're highly motivated. You're crushing it and you get busy. And oftentimes what I see, and I can go back to this with my clients over and over and over and over again. You get busy. So you stop planning at the level that you were planning. The reason you were executing, you had that plan locked down, but now you're so busy, you're skipping the planning part. That intention and setting yourself up to win is no longer there. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not motivated. This is why I hear somebody like, I just can't stay motivated. This is not a motivation problem, okay? Your brain says, I don't have time. And then you don't plan. And without a plan, your environment wins. And that turns into things like skipping meals, probably like the number one that I see, skipping meals. And now we're eating when we're ravenous. And guess what? It's not happening. We're not prioritizing protein. We're not getting fiber. We're not creating that goal body friendly meal. We're just eating whatever we can because we're ravenous, because we skipped the meal. Grabbing whatever you can, literally. And so then we're snacking and we're grazing, right? We're cooking dinner and we're like hands full of nuts and granola and healthy foods that are hundreds and hundreds of calories. We're eating late, we're eating fast, and then we're feeling out of control. You know, that like inhaling your food thing, right? And we're in that whole I'll just start tomorrow energy. I'll just start tomorrow. So here's the other part that I'm going to say very bluntly is this. If you're too busy to plan, you are also too busy to keep starting over. I'm gonna repeat this. Hold on. Let me just pause for a sec because I'm actually gonna take a sip of my coffee. Hold. You need to hear me. If you're too busy to plan, you are too busy to keep starting over. When are we gonna have the wake up call that the starting over is taking so much more energy and so much more time to get you to your goal body than just staying in it? Truly. So, okay. So what do we do instead? Here's your 20% solution. Okay. 20% solution. It's simple, not sexy. So again, I know we want to have all these quick hit dopamine hit things, not sexy, simple, and it works. Here is your new busy rule. Okay. You no longer get to have the excuse of, I don't have a plan today. And instead, you're going to replace that with, you only get to have a simple plan today. Okay. Simple plan. A simple plan day means for those days that you're not planned for, you don't really have strategy and a game plan in place, this. Okay. This is the exact framework I teach my clients. So protein and produce twice. Okay. So every single meal is going to have protein, and then we're going to have produce twice a day minimum. Okay. You cannot tell me that you can't have plants twice a day. So this is, fruits, veggies. This is that fiber side of things. Anyone can do that. You can do that. What we're doing is we're anchoring in, because what your brain wants to do is say, oh, I didn't get to plan that meal. I'm just going to go through fast food. We're just going to order Uber Eats. And then you're picking the burger and the fries and you're in the black and white thinking. So we're anchoring into, I don't have a plan, but I've got a simple plan, a framework that I can follow. Protein at every meal and produce twice. Anchored in. One anchored meal that you can repeat always within your freezer and your fridge. And everyone can do this. And if you're a client, you're listening to this and you need to go restock yours, here's your sign. One meal that you can repeat inside your freezer at all times. I don't care if this is frozen veggies and frozen black bean burgers, salmon burgers, I don't care if this is canned tuna. I don't care if this is a meal that you batch cooked, like a chili that you keep in the freezer. We could sit here and go on and on and on, but what is one anchored meal that you can put on repeat that's always in your environment? Okay. So I'll just tell you what mine is. And I literally lived off of this meal in November because I was sick and I had a lot going on, and I truly ate this meal every day. Okay. It was these Perdue chicken bites. They're freezer. They go in the air fryer for 20 minutes. I like to crisp mine to death. Okay. So probably closer to 10 to 15 minutes, but in the air fryer. They're a little bit more low carb. They're high protein. They're so simple. They're so easy. And I like them. I'm not going to make an anchor meal out of something I actually don't even like. So this meal, so freaking good. Okay. So that Frozen rice packs. I keep frozen rice packs in my freezer. Do I prefer to, yes, like cook my rice from scratch? Do you know how long it takes to cook rice? And like, I don't always have time for that, right? Again, busy women, we got a lot going on. Frozen rice that heats in 3 minutes in the microwave, boom, we're done. Okay. So that and a frozen bag of veggies. Okay. I like the broccoli, cauliflower. Is it Bird's Eye? Yes. Bird's Eye meals, okay, or frozen veggies. Okay. Steamed broccoli, cauliflower, again, done in like 4 minutes. And so then I top it with a little Japanese, like barbecue sauce. Okay. Boom, done. Simple, anchored, repeat, all things I can keep in the freezer at all times. So you don't have a plant, you got to just have something stocked that you can turn to very quickly. Also, simple plan for your day, water, okay? Water, just something that you can anchor to is always making sure that you're drinking water, hydrating yourself. It's just good for you in general. And I feel like it keeps myself and definitely my clients and any woman just really grounded in making sure that you're taking care of like the most basic and essential habits when it comes to your health. And then moving your body for 10 minutes minimum. You cannot tell me that you cannot pace around your house for 10 minutes, do a 10-minute body like weight workout, like 10 minutes. Okay. That's it. It's not perfect. It's not intense, but it is non-negotiable basics. And because consistency is not built in perfect weeks, it truly is built in the busiest weeks. You have to start seeing the I'm busy excuse as a excuse that is no longer valid. Like we live in a day and age where we have to understand like convenience is key, consistency is key. It is far more important to do a little bit of something, a simple plan day, than it is to just blow the whole day. Like it's just, we can't even take that into 2026. It doesn't even make sense anymore. We know better. So we have to start doing better. But this is the moment where I see women regain the most above all. The second regain moment is the I'm stressed moment. And this is the one that women I see, like the women I work with specifically, don't want to admit on paper, because when you are prideful, like I can sometimes be, and like all of us can sometimes be, we don't want to admit that we still cave in moments of stress and high emotion, that we turn to food. Like emotional eating, it's not fun, right? You have it all together, yet you still let food and drink be this thing that's like holding you back and has this like chokehold on you. It sucks. It's not fun to admit. I 100% resonate with that. It's never fun to be like, I still have this default habit of eating and drinking when I know that's not going to actually solve my problems. Yet I'm still stuck in this pattern and this loop, right? And so, yeah, like it's hard to admit when you have it all together on paper in so many ways, but at night when the house is quiet and when you finally sit down and you can finally relax, you know, like exhale, one big exhale, and food becomes the comfort that you turn to. And it's not because you're hungry. It's because you're depleted. And I'm just going to tell you something that it might hit. You don't overeat because you love food. I see so many women say, you know, oh, I have all this food noise and you know, it's because I just love food. But in reality, like overeating food is like a completion to your day. It's like a way to exhale, to have your nervous system sort of relax. And that's just a coping mechanism and a pattern that you have defaulted to for so long. It's a ritual. I call it a shutdown routine for my clients, where that is just this pattern you've created of being able to just relax. And I'm not saying you don't love food, but it's not like food has this hold over you and it's like you just love the way food tastes. No, it's a coping mechanism. It's that shutdown routine. So here's your 20% solution. I keep saying this about 20% solutions. What I mean when I say 20% is so many women don't see progress in those 20% moments, right? 80% of the time you can be on it. It's the 20% where you backslide. So 20% solutions are ways to still show up and have strategy even when things are chaotic and a mess. Okay. So the stress rule is this: you don't need to eat to decompress. You need a shutdown ritual that isn't food and drink. And I'll just give you like a simple one. Everyone needs to figure out what works best for them. I do this work with my clients. We get really into figuring out what this looks like for them. So it's going to be individual. So I'm just going to give you like an example of one that you can use and steal literally tonight. 3 minutes kitchen reset. Okay. So, counters cleared, put the food away, like shut the kitchen down. Is it called kitchen shutdown? Okay. 3 minutes, again, wiping the counters, closing up the cabinets, maybe make sure everything's ready for tomorrow. Put away. Okay. Nervous system, like downshift is what I call this. So this is taking like a shower to sort of wind down, doing some like deep breathing. And it doesn't always have to be this like get in bed and like, meditate full on deep breathing. I mean, I do like that option, but if that's not an option, just even taking some deep breaths, things like putting your legs up on the wall and like letting the blood flow come down is another way, to really just ground yourself a bit. Slow walk around the block. I know that's not always possible in the winter months, but if you can, just moving your body, allowing yourself to sort of, again, decompress, let your nervous system sort of downshift. 3-minute brain dump. What is my tomorrow tasks? What is making you feel behind? A lot of times when our nervous system and we're all like, oh, at the end of the day, it's like, did we fully shut down from from today? And so what can you do to allow yourself to sort of brain dump? What are the tasks I need to do when I wake up? Or what do I need to do at work? Or what do I need to do to take care of the Christmas list, right? Like just something kind of list style to allow yourself to decompress. And then this matters, okay? This part matters here. If you still want food after you've done these rituals and you've been able to sort of decompress, then okay, allow yourself something that is goal body friendly, right? So we're not talking about drinking a bunch of wine or just eating ice cream out of the carton. Like make a little goal body friendly snack, something with a little fiber, some nutrients that's actually going to fill you up, especially if you are hungry. Maybe your day calories, it just wasn't enough or it wasn't structured well. If you still want something, then have an option, a planned option, something that's really strategic, and eat it without shame. The part where this gets messy is when we're, again, like drinking and eating in excess or eating things that aren't really in the plan. So allow yourself a little snack. My clients are always like amazed when I'm like, yeah, we can plan for the snack. I lost 100 pounds eating my little treat every single night. I loved that. So again, you've got to really start to see it as you're not going to use food as this way to shut your brain off, which is where so many women get stuck. Because if food is your off switch and you continue to fall into that pattern, it's going to be hard to lose the weight in general, but more importantly, you're going to set yourself up for regain every single time. Because the minute that stressful seasons, like maybe you go through a season where work is a little more chill or, again, things are a little tighter and you're good, but then that stressful season hits. If we're defaulting to food being that outlet, it's not going to ever lend itself to you having your forever goal body. Okay. Final regain moment that I want to talk about. And this one is sneaky because it's positive. And this is kind of that mindset of, I'm good. I got this. Okay. Stay with me here. Regain moment number 3 is kind of this like, I'm fine now. Okay. So you feel better. You're looking better. Your jeans are fitting better. You have seen some progress and you're like, okay. And you do what most women do because you have not been taught otherwise, right? And programs and plans do not teach this stuff. Ours does. Other programs might not. You relax a bit without game plan, zero plan usually. You go from on it and crushing it and white knuckling it to whatever mode. And here's the truth that so many women don't realize is that, and this will change, this really will be like life changing, is maintenance is not what happens like when you stop trying. This is a phase that you have to train yourself for. This is a part of our 4-phase proven goal body method. Okay. Maintenance is a phase that you train for. This is like the missing piece of the puzzle for so many women. Is again, you go from on it and crushing it, and you know how to do it when you're doing all the things and you're checking all the boxes. But then when you go into a phase where maybe you've got to take your foot off the gas pedal for a moment, or you've kind of reached your goal, or you've seen some progress and you're feeling better, and you switch to that whatever mode, and then you're shocked that the scale is creeping back up. Here it goes. This is because you have not trained for this phase as well. If you always regain the weight, it's because you never learned how to live in these moments where you've got to take your foot off the gas, or you haven't learned how to live at your goal body. You only learned how to diet for it, right? How to be doing it in that fat loss, high energy moment when your dial can be all the way turned up. So 20% solution here. You've got to have some rules around this. Okay. So you don't just remove structure when you have to turn your dial down, or when you move into that maintenance mode. You don't remove structure, you change the structure. So fat loss structure is different than a maintenance structure or a dial turned down structure. So in maintenance, what we do is we have anchor habits, okay? A few habits that anchor us in, simple tracking signals. Okay. This is huge. And this is where so many women tell me like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to log my food, diligently forever? No, that's for fat loss. That's for fat loss. And that's for moments where we're turned all the way up. Even within my program, I just had a client, we just went through this. She had life-changing things happening. Okay. Things going on with her family that she had to be able to pull back just a bit and turn her dial down. She still was in sort of this fat loss phase, but she needed to kind of switch into a maintenance mode for just a hot minute before she could come back and get back into fat loss. Okay. So knowing how to dial things down for a moment and how to turn it down without erasing your progress and gaining all the way back is a skill. This is not like some magic formula. This is just skills that you just have to learn in fat loss so that in these moments, you know how to hold the line is what we call it. Okay. So simple tracking signals, not obsessively calculating every single thing and tracking every single thing. We're not really about that in our program, period. We do use food logging, but the goal isn't to like hyper focus and micromanage and obsess. That's why we don't count carbs and fats in our program. Unnecessary. Okay. So just having some simple tracking signals, knowing how to look at your plate and build a goal body friendly meal. So key. Weekly calibration. Just because you're taking your foot off the gas pedal for the moment. Okay. Think about holiday season. You may be in fat loss right now. How good would it feel to know that you actually have a system so that you can go and enjoy the holiday season and then come back to in the new year and just turn the dial right back up, and you held that line and you held your progress so that you're not starting over, right? Like that feeling, that energy wasted. Let's go back to what I said. The energy wasted, like the time that you spend starting over and starting from scratch is exhausting. And you're always like trying to start new plans and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, there is no surprise that we're gaining and losing the same weight over and over. That goal, getting your goal body has been on the goal list, the New Year's goal list for so many years, right? We've got to break free from that kind of stuff. So again, having these systems, weekly calibration, just because you're not like on it in a season, or just because you've lost the weight and now you're in maintenance, doesn't mean that it's a free for all. We still got to have some weekly calibration. And the biggest thing is in our program, we train flexibility on purpose. Flexibility isn't cheat days and going off the rails. And no, it is a part of the strategy. And it's the strategy that makes this work for life, for literal life. So again, if you haven't learned how to do those things, then of course you regain. Nobody taught you how not to, okay? So here's the deal. Here's why the pattern keeps winning. When you zoom out and you really look at this, here's what I see. Like, as a coach who's number one, been through this herself, lost 100 pounds naturally, has been through multiple fat loss phases as a part of body recomposition, and has been in my business for 9 years, having worked with thousands of women, okay, who are losing body fat, building muscle, getting their goal body. Here's what I see happening, okay? You are still relying on motivation and that like starting over hype energy. And that works, like another 10-day challenge, 21-day challenge, like that works until it doesn't. Like at some point we have to stop saying like, that works for me. Does it? Or if we're still here, does it actually work? Motivation is seasonal. It's seasonal. Hype, that hype energy, that fresh start, seasonal. It has a limit. It ends, okay? It runs out. The tank runs empty, okay? Your life still keeps going, right? So if your plan only works when you're hyped and when life is calm, it's not a plan. This is living in like fantasy land, okay? You don't need another fantasy. You need a system that survives weekends. Hello, who's a weekend sabotager here? Or saboteur. What is it? I never know. I always mess it up. That survives restaurants, eating out. Hello, let's not act like we're never going to eat out. That survives travel, holidays, stress, and works when you get into the maintenance season, whether that's because you're having to turn your dial down for a minute or because you finally arrived. That is the whole game right there. Okay. So I want to kind of just like make this like real for a second, because I've had 2 clients that I have seen like probably in the last 2 to 3 months, really truly like just overpower a lot of this. And again, like, this is my like life's work, is helping women not just lose weight. Like, that's not what I'm here to help anyone do. I don't care if you lose weight. I'm here to make sure this is the last time you lose weight. Okay. So thinking in particular about, we just did progress check-ins, and my client was really like, she struggled with the idea of being perfect all week and needing to be perfect all week, and, you know, being able to really white knuckle through these moments, but then off the rails on the weekend. Like, the spiral really started on like Thursday night, and she would spiral all weekend. And she, like, this was something that we really worked on with her, was her weekend protocol. This is all my clients. We have a weekend protocol. It's like a weekend identity shift. It's not just about the food that you're eating on the weekends and your game plan for eating out and all of that. Yes, but it's an identity shift for how you act on the weekends and how you, like, regulate your nervous system and actually relax and don't cope with the same coping mechanisms you've been using, which is when you gain all the weight back, because we're turning to food and alcohol, right? So we really worked on her weekend protocol. And for her, busy, like, her weekends, kind of similar to me, like, change a lot. Some weekends she's really more chill and they're at home, and some weekends they're traveling, lots going on. And so we had to really figure out a strategy that worked with her life, because it didn't always look the same. This is where I don't do copy and paste stuff. Like, every individual needs to figure this out. And so I think about how she was gaining that same 10 and 20 pounds over and over again. And now we're like 35. I think we just hit 35 pounds down, and she's just crushing the weekend. Like, again, this was the number one hang up and obstacle. And I love it. Getting my Monday morning message from her that I can now expect of, I woke up lighter, leaner, and prouder than I've ever been. And like, it just feels so good. So you don't have to stay stuck in these cycles. You really can break free. I see it with my clients all the time. And I also saw this with another client recently who, and this one really stands out because when she came to me, she was like, I'm doing all the things. And I know anytime somebody says like, I already eat healthy and I eat clean and all of this, but I'm not losing body fat. I'm not, seeing the results that I want. And what we really had to look at with her was tightening up the areas that she thought that she was, being super on it with, that truthfully she just wasn't. And it's not always so visible to somebody, like when it's yourself, right? It's like looking at yourself is hard. I have mentors and coaches and things for certain areas of my life because I cannot see the blocks for myself. This is why I coach women, right? So once we really dialed in certain things like her portions, her protein, more importantly, her consistency, she completely leaned out and is down 15 pounds now. And it's been rapid consistency. And that was after she was waffling with the same 5 pounds for years, literal years. Okay. So she was able to lean out these 15 pounds while being consistent, while still eating out, doing the things that she loves, eating the food that she loves, not like obsessing over tracking and micromanaging everything, like truly able to step away from logging sometimes when she needs to and still stick to the things that she needs to in order to have those goal body friendly meals. Yes, be dialed into her protein and her portions and see the results without being extreme. And so again, it's one of those things I see so many women say, I just need more willpower and to be more motivated. My clients didn't need to be more disciplined. In fact, these are some of the most disciplined women in the world. They come to me and I'm like, you guys are like, so, I feel it. Like, again, I tend to attract women that are very similar to me. You can have all the discipline in the world and you're like, I'm so consistent and good at all these other things, but it doesn't matter if your plan does not set you up to still be on it, even on your busiest, most stressful days. That's when things fall apart. If you don't have a game plan for the weekend, that's when things, tend to fall apart. So this regain cycle and these things that you're stuck in, there's a way out. Okay. So if you're hearing this episode and you're like, okay, I'm not broken. Thank God. Thank you, Hillary, for telling me the truth. You're not broken. Your metabolism's not broken. It's not your age, blah, 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 blah. Whatever they want you to believe out there with all this peptide and all this crazy stuff that's now happening. Like my clients are like over here just doing the most simple things and actually just rewiring their brain. And I'm like, whew, y'all are doing the most. I am like amazed at how much people are trying to do to see results. And I'm like, man, there's such more simpler ways to do all of this and they are lasting and you don't have to spend $1 million a month or like inject yourself with anything. Like, let me tell you, there is a way out. So again, if you're hearing this and you're like, okay, good to know. I'm not broken. I'm just patterned. That's okay. Right? The best part is patterns can be changed. That is like the best news in the world. I tell my clients all the time, good news. I bring good news. You're not broken. You're just stuck in a little pattern and that's okay. So you have two options. Option one, you can do what you always do. You can keep repeating patterns. You can know that you need to do something different and be inspired by listening to this for your Monday and then, fall off of it. You can wait for January. You can promise yourself this is the year and get 2 weeks of momentum under your belt and then life hits and you're right back in the same place in March or May or after summer. Right? Or option two, you can stop treating this like a yearly project that you do every year and you can get coached out of this. Okay. My goal is to get you out of this. I don't want to keep you. I want to get the job done, and I want you to move on with your life because you deserve it. Your kids deserve it. Your significant other deserves it. Like, you deserve this, right? To get out of this. So come in to Goal Body Coaching, get coached so that you can stop setting New Year's weight loss goals once and for all. Let me tell you something about Goal Body Coaching. It's not a PDF that you download. It's not just a try harder pep talk and 5 minutes on a, call where you get to raise your hand and hope that I, get into your question. It's daily coaching out of this stuff. Okay. It's not just like a copy and paste plan that you've seen a million times. It is me helping you diagnose your exact patterns specific to you, not just everyone else. Okay. Build a realistic fat loss plan for you. Install the systems and the operating that is going to allow you to still be in it and on it during busy days, stressful days, weekends, traveling, eating out, all the things, real life. Okay. And then again, this is the most important part that programs just don't do. We train you for maintenance so that you don't lose it. Great. I'm happy if you lose it, but then you got to go find it again next year because you're starting over from scratch again. And, here's the thing. If you want to feel good, like I keep talking about like time frames and stuff, I think that putting into perspective like summer, right? Like if you enroll into Goal Body Coaching right now, just as an example, like you enroll into Goal Body Coaching now, then we can use winter and spring as your runway so that you're not panicking in May to get ready for summer. And you're also, I'm not just here to get you there for a season. You're also not starting over again after all of those summer vacations, right? Like, tell me if that's the pattern. Like, is that the pattern? Are you having to get ready and panic for summer and then you go and you just all summer and then you have to start over again after all the vacations? Girl, let's get you summer ready for the last time because you're not just losing the weight for a season. You're building the skill of keeping it once and for all. Imagine how much energy you're going to be able to spend on other things, how much time you get to free up when you do this for the last time. Okay. So if you're ready to stop doing the same 10 and 20 pound cycle and you want me to build this with you for your real life and hold you to it, okay? Again, not just here for, oh, well, I hope you do it. No, like we're here to do it. Feet to the fire. Then now is the time to enroll in Goal Body Coaching. Get your January start date. It's set. December's done. So for coaching spots, we're full. We've had so many ladies start and they're crushing it. Like the head start, amazing. But we've still got some spots for January. So like now's the time to grab your January spot. And if you've been waiting for a sign and you're like, oh, like I'm tormented at the thought of like repeating the same patterns and not having the systems and the structure to really be able to hold this and try to figure out and piece it together on my own. If you've been waiting for a sign, here it is. This is it. So before you go, I want you to do this one thing today, okay? I really want you to write down like what your regain moment is because sometimes, again, like get the journal prompts at the top of the show notes, get those. And in the journal prompts, when you're working on that, I want you to figure out and write down what your regain moment is. Is it that I'm busy? Is it that I'm stressed? Or are you the one who takes your foot off the gas pedal when you're seeing results or once you get to maintenance? Like which one is the reason that you have the regain moment? And maybe it's multiple, like it is for most women. But I want you to pick one of the rules. I gave you some rules today that you can start practicing, implementing right now. Like I'm here to coach you through this and do, what I can to give you this. So I want you to take that and practice it this week. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wait for January. You can start proving to yourself right now that you can be consistent and you don't have to wait, and and that's going to pull you out of that start over toxic trap once and for all when you stop letting yourself default to that. So find your regain moment. Links in the show notes, journal prompts like we talked about, those are free, so go and grab those. It is such a great time to truly, again, just have a good look at and create awareness around where you're holding yourself back, getting real with yourself. Goal Body Coaching January spots. We've got several ladies starting in January, and I want you to be on the list. Get your enrollment spot locked in. We do Monday start dates. So the second half of the month, I have no start dates. Like, we've got some beginning of month start dates, and then we flip into February. So let's get you locked in. This is 6 months of like reworking, rewiring your brain and your system so that it's the last time that you have to lose this weight. Last time. That is what we're here for. So let me show you exactly how, and hold you accountable to it, most importantly. All right, ladies, check out the link in the show notes. I can't wait to see you inside Goal Body Coaching. Can't wait for you to grab the journal prompts. And as always, I so appreciate when you shoot me a message on Instagram. Let me know if you loved this episode, and that is at Goal Body by Hillary with 1 L. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, let me know. Did you love this one? I'm super excited for the episodes for the new year. The rest of this month's episodes are some reflection. I know this time of year, well, I say that. This time of year, usually not a lot of podcast downloads, but then I got my stats from last week and the week before, and I'm like, okay, we're actually having more downloads than we usually do. So I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe we've tapped into a new audience. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited. I love it so much. But yeah, the rest of this month will just be kind of reflecting and also setting up for 2026. We got to get ready, get prepared. But I know this is a time of year where we're really spending a lot of time with family. So we'll be doing some reflection and getting set up for sure. And then in January, it is on. It is on. So get ready. Cannot wait, you guys. So excited. So excited for you guys to grab those journal prompts. And also, I can't wait to see my ladies who are going to step into Goal Body Coaching with me. Can't wait to meet you and spend, the first half of 2026 with you. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.